This is the conversation we were never taught to have about pain, trauma, and the sacred power of your womb. Ebony Q is here to guide you back to yourself. Greetings, Ebony.
Greetings, greetings.
Ebony, let's get into it, my love. How do you show up in the world?
Ooh, okay, we getting right in. Okay, how do I show up in the world? I show up in the world with integrity. I show up in the world embodied in my being.
Mm,
hmm
I like that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
embodied in my being. Tell me more about that.
Mm. So what that means for me is honoring who I am, where I am, being honest with myself, present with the moment. So that requires me to have an ongoing conversation with myself. It doesn't have to be out loud, but there's a communication that's happening between my soul, my mind, my heart, my body. We're moving as one. We're
Mm,
moving as one as we move through the world. Because if we can't do that, if we can't show up for ourselves, we can't show up for other people. And so in order to show up for me, I have to be present with me.
I love
And that
that.
requires me to be embodied.
That's some real wisdom. I've seen it take quite a long time for others to realize that,
Mm,
to be present and what that really
yes.
looks like. So what journey led you to this?
I would say my womb journey led me to this. Um, and it was a journey of overcoming, and not even overcoming, but understanding my experience, which at the time was chronic pain. And this showed up for me when I was in high school, at the start of my menstruation, my menstrual cycle. And interestingly enough, it was something I was excited to experience. I was like stepping into my womanhood.
Yeah.
Some of my friends had already experienced this. I was just waiting on the day.
How old were you?
I was in sixth grade, so I was 12.
Well, oh, okay.
hmm Yeah, and so like with that being said, I had so many other friends who had already begun, and they told me about it. And
Mm,
so, but when it showed up for me, it showed up with it knocked me off my feet. It showed up with lots of pain. And so now this new stepping into this new phase of being
mhm.
um, a tween, um, was a new journey because now every month I'm experiencing pain that is interfering with my quality of life.
Mm,
And that wasn't a conversation that anyone, I don't think, could have prepared me for, although I just wasn't even prepared for it
yeah.
at all. I wasn't prepared for that experience. And this went on for many years.
Mm,
And finally, my mom took me to the OBGYN, and they didn't have any answers. They just like, oh, take this birth control. We're just going to put you on this birth control to help balance out your hormones. But then this birth control will cause side effects. So
right.
now they're like, well, try this one. And this birth control would create more side effects. And so now we're talking ninth grade, and I'm having hot flashes, mood swings, chronic
Mm,
depression, like all of these other things that they don't tell you could be the symptoms of birth control and imbalanced hormones in general.
mhm.
Yeah, so it took me about let's say, almost 10 years, if not longer, to get a diagnosis. So in my
Mm.
20s is when I was finally diagnosed with endometriosis.
Oh, wow.
hmm Up until then, I felt crazy, and I was, made to feel crazy because women don't understand what's happening. Older women, they're telling me it's just cramps. We all go through it, and I'm like, no, it feels like my insides are being scraped with a knife. It was so painful, and
Yeah.
it would take me out. Like I couldn't go to school. If I did go to school, someone had to come and carry me to the car.
Oh,
Like
wow.
that's how bad my pain was.
So I have two questions that popped up. One,
Okay.
you mentioned that you were excited about it because your friends told you about it, but I'm curious about what was the journey and the conversations at the time with your mother, because my mother never told me about it, and my mother's mother never told her about it.
There was no conversation with my mother.
Mm.
There was no preparation at all. The only reference I had was just seeing her sanitary things underneath the cabinet. But
Same.
in terms of the conversation, there was none.
Yeah. And then you
Mhm.
mentioned endometriosis. What is that?
So endometriosis is a condition of the reproductive system, typically where the endometrial tissue that sheds, like the lining that sheds every month during your
Mhm.
menstruation, is
Yeah.
now the tissue is growing outside of where it's supposed to grow. It's typically growing outside of the uterus, and yet it still sheds. So it might be growing in the bowels. It could be growing just on the ovaries, in your like your gut. Like it can grow. Honestly, they found endometrial tissue as far as the brain.
Oh, wow.
It can grow anywhere, but it's supposed to only grow within your uterus. However, it still sheds every month, even though it's grown, it's been
Mhm.
overgrown and it's grown in the wrong place. It sheds every month. So now you're bleeding internally, and now you have an internal plumbing issue, which then is now sending signals to your entire body that something is wrong, and it causes inflammation. It causes your everything to flare up, especially in the spots where this endometrial tissue has grown where it's not supposed to be.
Oh, wow. That almost kind of makes me think about fibroids. Are they
Mm-hmm.
related in
They're
endometrial?
not related.
Okay.
They're not related in the sense of the way that they function. However, they are both, of course, reproductive issues. Because with fibroids, you even have different symptoms when you have fibroids. Typically, it's like heavy bleeding.
Nice.
Whereas endometriosis, you may not even have heavy bleeding. You just might be, it might just feel like everything is on fire.
Mm, mm. I can relate to both of these. I haven't been diagnosed
Mm,
with endometriosis, but I do have something going on where sometimes my vagina feels like it's being cut with glass. Other times it feels like it's on fire. And so we've been
that sounds, yes, that sounds
figured
like the experience of endometriosis. Yes.
absolutely. So this went on. So was this sounds like yours started from the very beginning.
It
To
started
be
from the very beginning. Yes.
wow. Oh, poor.
And interestingly enough, my mom, she'd be like her only feedback would be, I don't have those type of issues. And, or she'd be like, your dad's sister went through that.
Mm,
Which interestingly enough, she was then diagnosed with fibroids.
mm,
And so she has womb issues. And then there would be a theory of, because at the time I was a cheerleader, and so my
mm.
mom would be like, it's because you're jumping up and down on that floor, on that hard floor.
Oh, okay. And did you get any
Yeah.
in relation to baths? Did anything come up regarding that? Because I know that's another common thing that I hear about
Say that
baths.
one more time.
In
About
relation,
bath.
hmm, take a bath.
No.
Okay.
No, only my mom, well, my grandmother, or not even my grandmother, my aunt, she would say warm liquid. They would just say warm liquid, keep something on your feet.
Mm.
Those words. the two words of wisdom, which are beautiful wisdom, especially because in traditional Chinese medicine, if you are experiencing cramping, then
Right.
typically it is because you have some cold and stagnation in your womb. And our womb meridians are connected to our feet. So this, I mean, that's some good wisdom. And of course, the warm beverages as well. So when you have an issue greater, and so that's what I'm saying, because I did not have my diagnosis,
Yeah.
I'm getting the wisdom of someone who maybe is just experiencing cramps or a cold wound. However, my situation was much more severe than that. And it took a long time for me to even have that approval from a doctor so that, and even have a frame of reference of exactly what is
What could it be?
happening. Mm-hmm.
So before we get deep into that, I'm curious. I'm known as a disruptor coach out here in these streets,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I have this whole conversation around disrupt her conversations, right? So I am
Yes.
curious, what did the disruptor in you have to disrupt?
Mm. Woo. Okay. So I'll give a little bit of backstory and I'll get right into answering that question. So as the years went on, I had children. I ended up I'm having two boys, twin boys. And in that time I'm breastfeeding. So my moon or my menstruation stopped. It ceased for a while I was breastfeeding. But when it returned with a vengeance.
Mm.
So then I was like, oh, there's still work that you have to do. You got a little break, but you still have work to do. And
Had
at
the
this point,
endometriosis been diagnosed by this time?
diagnosed at that point,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
I probably had just been diagnosed with it maybe a year before. It had
Okay.
been confirmed with doctors a year before I got pregnant and then had my boys. So um, within that time, what started to happen was first I was only experiencing pain during the actual menstrual cycle.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, that pain started to bleed over into ovulation, which then started to bleed over into just other phases of my menstrual cycle to the
Mm.
point where I, I was having trouble walking. I was having so much pain that I was having trouble walking. And I had been in endometriosis support groups at this point.
Okay.
And I seen where other women had to walk with a cane from being in this pain or have to walk with a walker because the pain is too unbearable. And something within me just was like, there was a fight within me that was like, that is not going to be my life. I see this happening,
I
but
know that's
something has to give because this is not going to be my life. And at this point, I've been in my spiritual journey and on my awakening. So I have been learning about the chakras and like the sacral chakra and how it like energy healing and how it manifests physically. So I
yeah.
had a knowledge of that. And within that knowledge of that, I think the fighter in me was who said that that was not going to be her life. There
Right.
was like a light bulb that went off that was like, okay, if you can heal yourself through energy work, you could heal your womb. You could heal this. And it was like an aha moment. And so within that, just with everything that I had learned before that moment, I was like, this is the time to really put it in motion. Like,
Right.
yes, you've been doing it, but like right now you really need to do it because you're getting to a place where you can't even get out of bed and you have to be there for your children. Like you have to be there for your family. You have to be there for you have to show up for yourself. You don't
Right.
want to live like this. These are the conversations I'm having with myself. This is how I talk to myself.
That's right, girl. I even say,
Y'all
girl,
just hearing it in real time.
yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I'm curious, as you speak, and I don't know if we've talked about this before. Have you heard of Queen Afua's Sacred Woman?
So that's the next part of the story.
Mm.
I decided to go on a juice fast. Like something in me, my spirit was just like fast. And I had done some water fast and things before that, some temporary fast, but I just put it in my spirit that I was going to juice fast for 30 days.
Yeah.
And within that. That's all I had. That's all I had. I was like, I'm gonna do fast and I'm gonna meditate.
And that's
And
that's how it
yes,
happens, right? You don't get the whole plan and the whole journey and the whole path. You get one thing to do, and until you
yes,
do that, you don't get the next step.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So in the process of me, probably it didn't happen so quickly because
Mhm.
I'm an activator. And so once I decide a thing, I promise you the universe conspires quickly on my behalf. I am blessed and highly favored in that.
Tell it for the people in the back. Say that one more time.
Ooh, which
Once you
part of
make
it?
that
Once you make a
decision,
decision, the universe will conspire on your behalf.
yeah. And so what had happened was,
What happened was, in the process of me starting my juice fast, I'm buying all of the veggies and fruit. Queen Afua just pops up on my YouTube channel. This woman I had never heard of, and she's talking about the womb. She's talking about sacred woman and how the womb has a voice. And I'm like,
yes,
oh, wait.
yes,
Yeah, hold up. This is for me. Like I knew, I was like, this is for me. So I tuned into an interview, and then I did some research, and then I ended up buying a Sacred Woman book.
girl. Where you keep yours at? I have two. I actually have
I
three.
have two as well.
I have three. I have two physical copies and I have a digital copy.
If that's the case, I have three too then.
Oh, well, take that back. I have four because I also have
Uh-oh.
I have the Audible. It's on
Okay.
Audible. Did you know that? That it was on
I
Audible?
saw it. So I think it's on Spotify. And I haven't listened to it on Spotify, but
I
I
didn't
think
know
I
it was
have
on
it on
Spotify.
Spotify.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
This
Yes,
this the Bible right here. Where is it? Now, she also has a
it
rites of
is.
passage program. Did you participate?
She does. And I haven't participated. I still think about it though. I would love to go through the ascension.
Girl, I have gone through the rites of passage and the ascension. And
Ooh, Sacred
I am
Woman.
tripping because you know what was going on before we got on the. I don't have my ring on. I am never without my ring. It is sitting on my nightstand.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Okay. This is
so you got
alignment.
the book because the book itself is all you really need. If you are good at following, the path, because this is like a medicine resource, like
It
life
is.
saving. Like they talk about the Bible being biblical instructions before leaving Earth. Every woman, especially of African descent, needs this book. Would you say?
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. It is a Bible.
So tell me more about your journey for the woman out there that may be experiencing now. What made it disruptive for you in that? Because I'm curious, when you got diagnosed, what did the doctor say? What was the course of treatment for it at that point? And then it sounds as if there were still even greater complications once you had the diagnosis. So it wasn't like anything was healing. Is that fair
No,
to say?
that is fair to say. So I received the diagnosis and the treatment that they were willing to give me. The next step of treatment was giving me an option of hysterectomy if I didn't want to have children,
I was.
but I did want to have children,
Mm-hmm.
and depo because they said that that would make the the menstrual cycle just go away and I wouldn't have to worry about it.
And Depo is a form of birth control, I believe. Is that right?
It's a form of birth control, but it's a shot. So instead of taking the pills every day, you would take the shot.
Okay.
And I wasn't resonating with that option because at this point I had been a guinea pig for many birth controls, and I mean so much so that they was willing to give me money to let them know how it's going, every season. So I
Oh,
really felt like a guinea pig.
was this like like trials for new types of birth control? Oh wow.
Yes, trials for new type of birth control, I guess based on what the pharmaceutical company had given to my OBGYN.
Mm.
And like I said, but on top of that, I wasn't feeling like myself, even though at the time, of course, I'm going through a lot of transition, being that I'm in high school.
Right.
But the hot flashes and the cold flashes and the mood shift and just the way that I felt. By the time I had gotten to college and I was on my health journey in my 20s, at this time I had given up eating. Like, I stopped eating red meat.
Mhm.
I watched my dad fast growing up, so I think that's also where that influence of feeling like, okay, you can fast for your health came from, because I watched my dad do fast
Okay.
growing up. He was into health. He was into herbs. So I saw herbs and supplements. I grew up seeing herbs and supplements, and I saw my father fast. And so that inspired me, later on. I guess he planted those seeds in me later
Yeah.
on to do the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once you got this book, what had happened?
So I got this book. And like I said, it happened so quickly. I might have still been waiting for the book to come, because it
Mm.
wasn't until it was about day 3 where I was in my living room. I had been juice fasting. I had learned about clean food. I'm waiting for my book to come, and I'm feeling a little like weary. I'm feeling tired because I've
Mm.
been fasting, and something in my spirit was just like, dance.
Mm.
And I'm like, dance, and it was like, dance. And I was reminded of when I was 13, and no, matter of fact, 12. When I was 12, and I around that same time, I just started my move. I fell in love with belly dance. There
Mm.
was like the art of belly dance really spoke to me. And at the time, I told my mom I wanted to be a belly dancer, and she was like, "Girl, you just fast. You just want to be fast." And it's like, no, I really fell in love with the art of it.
Right.
But as time went on, you know, life changes, we find other things more important. I completely forgot about, at that point in my life, my obsession with wanting to belly dance.
Right.
And I was reminded that I love belly dance. And so I just started belly dancing in the living room. I started turning on music. Um, it's the song called Yearning by Raul Ferrando. And I used to play that song over and over and over. And I just started belly dancing. And then the process of me belly dancing in my living room on like day 3 or 4 of my fast, I
Mm.
started generating energy, like, and
Mm.
joy. And
Ooh.
within that, I ended up having an emotional release. Like, I ended up having an emotional release where it brought me to my knees. I'm on the floor just pouring out. But it's a mixture of, I feel things moving out of my body, but I'm also in joy. Like, I'm in joy. Like, I'm taken
Mm.
over by this joy.
Oh my goodness. Did you did you know how to belly dance? Had you taken lessons? How did you know what was it really belly dancing, or were you just kind of like in flow and in spirit and that's what it felt like for you?
It's a little bit of both, because I hadn't taken any formal lessons. However, I'm a dancer at heart. Like,
Mm.
I've been a dancer my entire life. And so at the time, when YouTube was a little fuzzy back then, our pictures weren't nearly as clear. And I'm on the desktop that has dial up and all that good stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
on YouTube, and I'm watching the women belly dance. And so that's how my fascination with it came. And I used to watch Shakira, because, like, outside of just what she does in her videos, she's actually a belly dancer.
Ah, I
And
did not know
so
that. I am intrigued
mm-hmm,
by belly dancing. I do definitely want
really,
lessons. Yes. And it's funny, I was
okay,
getting my hair done yesterday and uh my I call her loctician. I call her my magic fairy, my magic hair fairy. She had on
love
the
it,
TV, she had the Braxtons. And I think she said it
okay,
was season 1 or something. And Tamar on there was getting belly dancing lessons. So
okay,
how apropos that I would be talking to you today about belly dancing. And so
wow.
what was that about? How long had you been into the dance when you started to have that emotional release? Well, and it's two things
Mm,
that I recognize here that happen, right? One, your spirit is talking to you, you're listening, and then you took the action that your spirit told you to do. Because for women out there, I know that is extremely important because it allows you to trust yourself.
yes.
It's the only way that you're going to trust yourself is follow your spirit. And it sounds to me like the second thing is that your spirit had been conspiring all along to get you where you were supposed to be.
Yes.
And
Every
it
step of
will.
the way.
Yeah, it knows. It knows. So how long had you been doing the belly dancing? And then the release started. Was that like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes?
What I will say is that night I danced for hours. I
Mm,
went into my own zone. I don't even know how long I was dancing, but I know that by the time I looked up, I had been dancing for hours and it had felt like that long. So
mm.
I would say I I probably had ran that song back 4 times, about 4 times
Yes,
before I
on
had that
repeat.
release. Yeah,
Yes.
I just had it on repeat.
I
So I
love
don't know exactly the amount of time, but let's say it was enough time for me to run this song, which is about 5 or 6 minutes back, so about 20 minutes. And I was just basically taking what I had already learned, like what I did know about belly dance from watching those YouTube videos,
Yeah.
and also just my own flow of dance. Because, like I
Mm.
said, I've been dancing my whole life in all forms, fashions. I've enjoyed dance. I've been on a dance team, and even as a child, I wanted to be a choreographer.
I love
So
that.
dance was a huge part of my life. But who knew that belly dance, me returning to belly dance in my adulthood would have been just such an awakening moment for me when it came to my womb healing journey.
I love that. What's the origin of belly dancing? Do you know?
Depends on who you ask.
Well, I'm asking you. So what say you, sweetheart?
I say that we are the original women, you know. So Kemet comes from Africa, comes from Kemet. And so if
Ashe.
we're gonna put a place, and I believe that a lot of other cultures came to learn from Kemet, and then of course they took it back and to their place, and it was influenced by their cultures as well. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's why we have even different styles of belly dance. We have classical Indian, we have
Mm.
North African. There's different styles.
Which one do you enjoy?
It depends on, let's see, where am I in my journey? As of right now, I'm enjoying
Mm.
fusion belly dance, which it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a fusion of different cultures. And the dance is a little bit more grounded in the way that it's performed or the way that it's expressed. So
Okay.
whereas maybe classical belly dance, it's or cabaret style, it's a little bit more on the toes, it's a little bit more floaty and performative in the way that it's expressed. Because I do so much when it comes to working with the earth and grounded and rooted. I
Mm-hmm.
would say that like fusion style, has been the style that I've been going to the most and
Oh.
really tapping into.
Do you teach belly dancing? Or what do you do, darling? Tell me all about the belly dancing.
So I teach belly dance as a healing art. And so I
Mm.
support women who are experiencing womb ailments, fibroids, endometriosis, PCOS, and these hormonal imbalances, womb related things, to discover themselves through the art of belly dance. So I don't teach it from a performative style of dance. I
Mm-hmm.
teach it from an explorative style of dance where it's more somatic. And so in my class, you might experience a release. I'm able, because in the process of healing myself, and I tapped into my gifts.
Yeah.
And a lot of those gifts were being able to, I'm very clairsentient, so I can sense what's happening in the other people's bodies. I became a energy worker. So energy work is really infused into the way that I teach because I'm able to feel where the women in my class are holding, based on me looking at their postures and their bodies, but also sometimes I can feel it in my body. And
Oh,
so the
okay.
movement that is inspired is through me, yeah, like creating the sequence that is going to move that energy and move that emotion out of the body.
Do
And then we
you
talk about
do you, and is that like one-on-one? Is it a group thing? Like how do we work with you?
it. It is a group. It's called the dancing. It's a community, actually, a collective. It's called the Dancing Room Community, and we meet every 2 weeks via Google Meet. And within that time, we have a 75-minute class. So for roughly an hour, we work specifically with the movement. And then we also have time to process what's happening, like what happened in that time.
Is there any
And
in
then
person, or it's all online via Google Meets?
as of right now is via Google Meet. And so we'll meet there, but we also have a community where we stay in touch. There's a discussion board where you're able to get one-on-one conversation and coaching with me based on what your needs are between our last class and the next class. In terms of in-person events, my community gets firsthand, but my community is people in different states. You can be
Yeah.
anywhere and work with me. And so, but I do host in-person events, but they're more of like pop-up style. So for example, if you're in the Atlanta area, this Saturday I'm hosting a waist feed and womb circle event, waist feed workshop and womb circle, where we will be belly dancing, but I also have another practitioner coming in teaching the art of waist feed crafting and how to consecrate your own beads.
Ah, girl, yes, I got my waist beads. I got some when I went to Ghana too. I wanted to
Oh,
kind of
yes.
have like do a little ceremonial thing with them. This is cool. So where can we pull up to the pop-up that's in the A?
So the pop-up is in the A is in this space, this beautiful, lovely wellness space in Latonia, Georgia, called the Yellow Door Wellness Space. And you could find more information about that via you can follow me on Facebook, or friend me on Facebook, which is Eboni Q Belly Dance. That's my Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
My Instagram is also at underscore Eboni, EBONI underscore Q. And so you can find more information about that. You can DM me and ask questions. I'm open. I'm the one, as of right now, who's checking my DMs and talking to you. And yeah,
I
so,
love that. I love that. Are there any questions that I didn't think to ask that you want to share? Uh, any additional information?
mm, I think we've covered so much beautiful, like we've covered so much in this session. But what I would like to say and just reiterate is the importance of listening to yourself,
Mhm.
taking the time to listen to yourself, even if it's a tiny voice, even if it's just a nudge to take that next step.
Yeah.
You're not crazy. You're not hearing it for it to be disregarded. And that is the first step to hearing yourself, because a huge part of my journey was learning to listen to my womb. That is what I did learn from Queen Afua, is that the womb had a voice. And when I really started to tune into that voice, that's when everything opened up to me. But it required me to actually exercise that muscle in order to strengthen it so that I could, yeah, become stronger in it. And that is how I now walk as an embodied being of the earth. So I say I walk in this earth embodied. And
Yeah.
that's what I want for all of us. That's what I want for us as women. And so if you do have a womb story, you are experiencing womb trauma and womb pain, just know that you are not a victim to your story. Reclaim your power and know that your womb and this pain is a messenger. And it is really the catalyst to you stepping into who the Most High Divine brought you here to be.
Ashe. Ashe. All right,
Okay.
girl. I love this. I love this. The warrior in you came out on that one.
Yes,
You got
felt
lives
it.
out here to save. We ain't playing. I
We are
love that.
not
I love
playing.
that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So We're going to drop all of the information and resources that Ebony has for you. Speaking of resources, any other resources that helped you in your journey? We know Sacred Woman did. Is there any other resources, podcasts, anything else that you would like to share for someone else out there that needs to also walk this path?
I think, sometimes I feel like when we give too much information, we get information overwhelmed. And even for many women, I've heard many women say that even Sacred Woman is a lot to digest
It is.
because if you're not ready for it, you're not going to get what you need to get out of it. So what I will say is I have created my own journal called From Darkness to Light: The Journey of the Womb.
There we
And so
go.
this one is a nice beginner journey. So it's 30 womb centered prompts and reflections.
I love
And
it.
I just looked at basically my journal of the things that I was writing that helped me within my journey, and I turned them into prompts.
I love
And
this, From
so
Darkness to Light, girls. So how do they find this book? Where do
you
they
can
get the
actually
book?
you can find this book on my website at www.womb-love.me. And it's womb, like your womb, dash love.me. Womb love me.
I love
Yes.
that. That is so wonderful. Well, Ebony, before we get out of here, I have one last question, darling.
Okay.
I like to flip the mic, and I'd love to know if you have any questions for me.
Mm, I would like to know. See, we be here all day. 'Cause that's the question that I have. Because now that I know that you're a sacred woman, even the disruptor aspect of you makes so much more sense. So I actually want to know what what inspired you to step into the journey of recognizing who you are as a disruptor coach.
Uh, Being married to a narcissist and becoming disconnected from myself and no longer knowing who I was, I went
Mm,
in search of me, really. I had to go inward and I asked myself, what is going on with me that I'm here, that this happened?
mm,
Like because it wasn't anybody else. I was making choices and decisions. And in that, in becoming lost in myself, I realized I needed me and me. Somebody to show up the way that I would show up. And in doing that, this wee tiny little being that I had been following had a her Instagram was called Feminine Success. And one day she just said something that spoke to me, you know, that I needed to hear. I joined one of her, it might have been like a challenge or something like that. And then it led to an offer to join her community, the Feminine Success Collective, for 12 months. And I started realizing I didn't even know there was a such thing as a life coach. I started realizing, oh, I've been doing this for over 30 years for free. This is a
whoa,
profession. And so as I was
whoa,
in my healing journey and going through getting getting me, finding me, becoming me, I realized I need to get certified, right? So I did both at the same time. And then it led to, once I was done with that journey, it's like, I need something that's going to help me never forget who I am again, which led to Queen Afua. She introduced me to the rites of passage. My coach was going through it and she just happened in passing and to mention it. And when I heard it again, I was like, let me go over here and see what's going on. And rites of passage just struck with me. So I took that 12-week gateway journey. It is a beautiful experience. It's a sisterhood like no other. Um, and so that led to my journey, my certification, which then led to We Should All Be Millionaires. She recommended that. We used to read books. And then I started realizing, hey, in this journey, there are women like me that have hopes, dreams, visions, desires that they want to bring to life, but put them on the back burner, and I wanted to serve the whole women. So I do business,
Yes.
life, mindset, money coaching, and I'm certified in all.
Yes. And we are grateful that you said yes to every step
Yes.
of the journey.
And that's the thing right there, saying yes to yourself. You got to say no to others so that you can make room and space for yourself. Absolutely. Well, Ebony, this has just been yummy and beautiful. I thank you for sharing this space. Is there any final words for the people before we say bye?
I feel clear and complete. This has been an amazing experience. Thank you so much for having me here
Yes,
on
thank you
this
for
beautiful,
saying yes. We've been
beautiful
getting
day.
it done. And a couple people brought up your name. It's like, I need you to know Ebony. Abby and I
Yes.
get to connect. Now here we are. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, beautiful disruptors out there. We're gonna have all the details for you to get to Ebony. And in the meantime, you know what I need from you? I need you to take